Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the many ongoing legal battles involving Donald Trump, specifically the gag order that Judge Juan Merchan placed on him in his New York felony case. Spoiler alert, the gag order is staying firmly in place, and even the United States Supreme Court isn't interested in touching it. Let me break it all down for you. So here's the situation. Trump was convicted on 34 felony counts related falsifying business records, and he's awaiting sentencing. In the meantime, Judge Merchan imposed a gag order almost 2 years ago to prevent Trump from making inflammatory statements about the case, the judge and the people involved. Trump and his team have been fighting this gag order tooth and nail, arguing that it violates his First Amendment rights and even affects the press's ability to question him on certain issues. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Now, their argument hinges on some pretty weak claims. They're basically saying that Judge Merchan is biased because his daughter works for organizations that fundraise for Democrats and his wife has a career in law enforcement. Let's start with the daughter. She works in Democratic fundraising, true, but her job has no direct connection to Judge Merchan. She doesn't pay him. She doesn't involve him in her work. And there's no evidence that her political affiliations influence his decisions in any way. Judges are independent from their families, and the courts have consistently ruled that her job doesn't disqualify him from presiding over Trump's case. Now, on to Judge Merchan's wife, Laura. She's been a prosecutor for about 30 years. For a short period, 3 years to be exact, she worked in the same office as Letitia James, New York's Attorney General. But here's the kicker. Letitia James isn't even prosecuting this case. This trial is being handled by the Manhattan District Attorney. So there's no overlap at all between her role and this specific case. Laura is now working for the Nassau County District Attorney's office on Long Island. Her career is entirely separate from this trial. So trying to use her job as a reason for bias is, frankly, a massive stretch. Still, Trump's team, along with some media supporters, ran with these claims and brought their fight to the New York Appellate Division earlier this year. Back in May 2024, the court shot down their petition. The judges explained that the gag order was necessary to protect the fairness of the trial and prevent Trump from potentially endangering people involved through his statements. Simply put, Trump doesn't have the right to say whatever he wants if it risks undermining the legal process. But of course, Trump's legal team wasn't ready to give up. They escalated the matter to the U.S. Supreme Court, filing an emergency petition to overturn the gag order because the case originated in New York. The petition first landed with Justice Sonia Sotomayor. She reviewed the request back in October and denied it outright. That wasn't the end of it, though. Trump's team resubmitted the petition, and this time it was assigned to Justice Samuel Alito, since Trump now resides in New Jersey. Justice Alito also denied the petition. Essentially, this means 2 Supreme Court justices, and by extension, the entire court, have effectively agreed that the gag order is justified and should remain in place. So where does this leave things? The gag order stays. Trump is still prohibited from making inflammatory comments about the judge, the prosecution, or their families. And honestly, if I were Trump, I'd be careful. Violating this gag order could lead to serious consequences when Judge Merchan finally sentences him. A judge has every right to consider behavior like this when determining sentencing, and continued attacks could result in harsher penalties. What's wild is that this isn't the first time Trump's team has tried to push these arguments. Over the past 2 years, courts have repeatedly ruled that there's no conflict of interest with Judge Merchan simply because his wife and daughter have jobs. The argument that women working somehow makes him biased feels like it's straight out of the 1940s. It's 2024 people. Women having careers isn't a reason to disqualify a judge. The courts have made that clear over and over again. At the end of the day, the legal arguments against this gag order are weak. The courts are focused on maintaining fairness and safety in the judicial process. And the gag order is a tool to achieve that. Whether Trump likes it or not, the Supreme Court has sent a clear message. The gag order is lawful and will remain in effect. There's more to unpack in Trump's legal world, including some developments involving one of his former attorneys, Alina Habba, who seems to be getting a new role despite her less than stellar track record. But we'll save that for another video. That's it for this update. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the courts made the right call? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this and other major cases. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.